Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of Drizzle Land, because I'm going to be teaching you about something that's really neat on the wrestling network of www.com/network. So, what we're going to be talking about is that they have a thing called WWE 24. It's like a documentary service. Um, what I thought I would do is just kind of tell you what's available, what you can watch on here. So let's start with the brand new documentary about Kurt Angle, Kurt Angle Homecoming, which is honestly one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, you still would be interested in watching this just because of what the man had to do in his career to get to that point, to even get to the Olympics. Because yes, he did win an Olympic gold medal in 1996, um, and then he went on to obviously professional wrestling. Um, Now, what's interesting is that documentary not only incorporates his matches in the WWE, but also in TNA wrestling. So you get the interview with Dixie Carter as well. The second thing I want to talk about is the Finn Balor documentary is really, really good. I mean, um, it goes into his earlier days, onto his obviously New Japan wrestling days as well, and then obviously it follows him into the NXT and then the main roster obviously for WWE. Um, the other thing I want to talk about is WrestleMania Monday, which it talks about basically the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and all the surprises that have happened throughout the history of the show. Um, and then what we're going to go into is WrestleMania Dallas. Now, obviously, that was not this past WrestleMania. That was like, a year or two ago. But still, it's an amazing documentary. It really follows the history of WrestleMania and how it began and how this was a huge show. Um, and then we have something called the Women's Evolution, which that's all about the new wave wrestling for NXT, obviously, and then the main roster for the women's division. So you get the behind the scenes interviews with Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, most of the young talent that came up and on the main roster now for the women's division. And then you have the 24-hour documentary involving Seth Rollins, which is very interesting because it follows his whole career all the way back to obviously FCW and then on until he made the main roster, with the Shield. Even if you're not a Seth Rollins fan, this is still a documentary to check out. I mean, even if you're not a wrestling fan. And then there is another documentary called Thank You, Daniel. And this whole thing is about Daniel Bryan. It's about his whole career, not only in professional wrestling, but outside of the ring. Very interesting stuff. And then the next one that I want to talk about is the NXT Brooklyn documentary, which is really, really cool, you guys, because that follows not only the progression of NXT, but all the superstars who are basically on the main roster now that came from NXT. The next one I want to talk about is the Booker T documentary, and that documentary pretty much follows his whole career all the way from WCW to WWE, and obviously now he's a broadcaster, on Monday Night Raw. So if you're a Booker T fan, definitely check that documentary out. It's pretty awesome. It's definitely worth it. Now here's my favorite documentary in this whole folder. This is the WrestleMania 30 documentary. So this follows the whole storyline between the Authority, Ben, and Daniel Bryan, when he ended up winning the World Championship from Triple H at WrestleMania. It also goes into detail, obviously, about the Undertaker Brock Lesnar match that happened then, and lots of other things that go along with WrestleMania. That was the year when it was in New Orleans. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. That was the other main event match that they were sponsoring. So yes, I definitely think that WWE has a lot to offer us. In fact, with this video, I'm actually going to go into something else and show you something else that's kind of interesting. I apologize for the waiting time here. Okay, so we're going to go into select year. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not. I'm going to back away here. But they have officially added all the way up to 2017, and it dates back to, hang on here, 1983. So you can watch all these Monday Night Raws. I'm glad that they finally updated this so that people can actually watch all the programming. And then we're going to go into one more thing that I think is awesome. Okay, we gotta get it here. Okay, maybe it's backwards. I got it. Okay, figured it out. Okay. Okay, yeah. So, same thing here. This goes all the way back to 1999, so you can watch SmackDown from 1999 all the way up to 2017. Finally, they listened to us and they added these programs. I'm glad that they finally did this. The only thing I've not found on here yet was, unfortunately, I don't see Sunday Night Heat, which I would think should be on the network, but they don't have it for some reason. But what we do get is all these other shows as well now. Like, they added the Cruiserweight Classic, they have that now. They have 205 Live, you can watch the whole thing of NXT. And the other thing I was going to show you real fast, hang on here. You might have to go back. Okay. It's taking its sweet little time loading for some reason. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go in WCW. Okay, now you guys, I'm going to lean back here so you can kind of see the screen a little bit better. Okay, so not only do you get all the WCW pay-per-views now, because they go all the way up to 2001, finally they added some of the older pay-per-views. They only had a few years, a few months ago when I checked in here. So now it goes all the way back to 1983, I'm sorry. I was like 3 or something then. So obviously I'm not going to remember those. But, yeah, this is definitely worth the money, you guys, for the network. I know I've done a few reviews on this, but now every day that I go in here I'm finding new and awesome stuff to watch. Pretty much you just type a wrestler or a female wrestler's name in a search engine and bam, you get pretty much all their matches and all the thing about them. And obviously, let's say you're an ECW fan. So this goes all the way back to 1995. So, yeah, I mean, really, you're getting your money's worth as far as the quality for what you're paying for. Um, and why I'm recording this, I'm actually going to be doing my review on this Sunday's pay per view. Um, Very soon, it's going to be up. So, Battleground will be up soon. This is just like a third part to the network review. I'm finding new things every day that are just really awesome. So,